Hey guys, Kaylee Jane here with Cedar Winds Farm, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on my goats, and I'm hoping to just show you the stages of pregnancy as they progress, and also talk a little bit about what I'm feeding them right now. And I've got my herd down to my keepers. Syl went to a new home last week. This has been a little bit of a hectic week, so I'm kind of losing track of the days here. But anyway, she went to a new home. I'm very happy. I think she's in a great place where I think she'll be a really good fit. So I'm quite excited about that. So yeah, I'm just down to my 3 yearlings who will be freshening as 2-year-olds, and Josie, who's about 5, and this will be her 3rd freshening this year. It's kind of a small herd. It feels a little bit empty out there. So here's Cleo. She's the furthest along of all my goats. She was bred in the beginning of November, so she's about 60 days along. I'm just going to show you how she's developing here. I mean, there's really no udder happening yet. Teats are maybe lengthening a little bit, but not anything real major or noticeable. If you look and see, her right side is a little bit, it's not fuller than her left side, but it is lower than her left side. So that is an interesting thing that you will notice sometimes in early pregnancy. And here she is from her other side. So just not a whole lot going on there. She's definitely acting hungrier than she was. So I have increased her grain ration, and I'm just going to keep an eye on that for her. I think she's in pretty good shape now, but she's one of the low goats on the pecking order, so she probably gets the least to eat of everyone. Sunday's about 2 weeks behind Cleo, so she's about 45-50 days along. So she's a really long goat, so you don't really see, I feel like, as many signs with her, and she's also just not as far along. But I'll go ahead and show you the back view. She's so hairy you can't even see her udder, so I don't know what's going on there, but probably not much. And then you know, her sides, again, I feel like her right side is slightly lower maybe than her left side. It's really hard to show this on camera. But it's really not super noticeable there. And Alfred decided to dig through the trash can, and he found a bag to play with. Is that a cool bag, Alf? And here is Butte. She's right at 30 days pregnant. So, I mean, yeah, nothing going on there with the udder. She's standing at a weird angle, but you can just see there's not a whole lot happening. But it is quite interesting because right around the 21 to 30 day mark, you will start to notice that they get this sort of lopsided appearance. So her left side here, see, it's high and it's kind of bulgy right now because she's just had some hay. And then her right side is low. And sometimes, depending on the angle that she's standing, it's a little bit bulgy too, but the bulge is more down here. And so it's just really interesting. They get this actually fairly pronounced little beginning baby bump right around the time that they're about 30 days bred. And I've noticed this in all of my first fresheners that I've bred. And admittedly, I haven't bred tons and tons of first fresheners yet, but so far I've noticed it in all of them right around the 30 day mark. And it's just, I mean, it's a pretty noticeable difference there. And then it tends to kind of go away as their pregnancy progresses, and then shows back up again later, maybe around the 2 to 3 month mark. or even later in some goats. Some goats just really don't show their pregnancy hardly at all. But anyway, I just thought that would be fun to show you. So she's, the way I remember where the kids are is, I heard somebody, read somebody say, it's lunch on the left and Rugrats on the right. And that's as you're standing behind the goat. So you're facing the same direction that they're facing. And anyway, that's just a handy little saying to remember that, you know, left is the rumen, right is the kids. And obviously as pregnancy progresses, the kids are going to push out more. They're going to push her side out, and then they're also going to push her left side out, and so her rumen side is going to bulge more. And in late pregnancy, I've actually felt kids kicking on the left side when they were just like really packed in there, late term pregnancy. But for the most part, if you're looking for kids, signs of kids or wanting to try to feel kids kicking, you're better off to try on the right side, because that's the side that they're carrying their kids on. But anyway, I just thought that would be cool to show you this little bump here. And it's super pronounced right now. And I also just wanted to give you a quick note about feeding. So right now my goats are getting Timothy hay, pretty much just free choice. I put it out twice a day, and I aim to have them have that in front of them all the time. And they're also going out in the woods to browse some, but there's not a whole lot out there since they've cleaned out that pond area pretty well. And then I'm also giving them grain. And I'm not giving a whole lot of grain at this point in their pregnancy, just because I don't think that they really need it. And then I'm also giving them, right now, I've got, let's see, how many goats do I have in my herd? 5. I've got 5 altogether right now. And they're getting 2 flakes of alfalfa orchard grass mix hay once a day. And I will increase that amount as their pregnancies progress. It's especially important for them to have higher levels of calcium later on in their pregnancy, because they're developing the bone structure of their kids, and so they're going to need the calcium in their diet to be able to do that in a healthy way. So I'll show you that as time goes on. So these are my feed scoops, and I've been using these for a long time, so they're pretty nasty. But anyway, these are actually, I think these came out of milk replacer, calf milk replacer. But anyway, they're right at a pound. So when you fill them up, that's a pound of grain for the goats. And so right now, I'm giving my does, I'm giving Sunday and Butte 2 handfuls of grain. So that's like less than a quarter pound of grain. And for Cleo, I went ahead and I'm giving her right about a half a pound of grain, just because she seems like she's really hungry and she kind of needs that extra feed. So anyways, that's what they're getting. This is a 14% protein goat ration. I just get it from the local feed mill. It's nothing fancy. But anyway, it's got a good calcium to phosphorus ratio, which I really like, because that means I can feed it to my boys too if I need to. And it's just, I can just buy 1 batch of grain for everybody, and that's really nice. The other thing I'm feeding right now is Diamond V yeast, and I literally just put a pinch of this on their food. It's super cheap. I'm getting it for about 10 cents a pound or something like that. It's really economical to buy, and my focus is weird because my lighting is bad. Here it is. So it's just really good for their rumen and digestive health. And last but not least, if I have somebody who just needs a little extra fat in their diet, or you know, if I need to bring the milk fat up to improve milk flavor in one of my does, I will feed them a handful of black oil sunflower seeds. You really don't need to feed too much of this. You know, maybe just a couple tablespoons a day. Right now I'm only feeding them to Cleo and Syl. I don't feel like anybody else really needs them. But I just keep a bag of those on hand, and I can add those to the feed ration of specific goats if I feel like they need it. I just like to keep the feed as simple as possible. I know a lot of people get really fancy with mixing their own feeds, and if that's what works best for you, that's great. Go for it. But for me, it's just like an extra thing to do, and I feel like they do fine on the feed that I'm giving them right now. The other thing I wanted to point out too is that as pregnancy progresses, obviously I'm going to be monitoring their body condition and just how they look overall. It's really important to keep up with mineral levels during pregnancy, because again, carrying kids can really kind of take it out of them in a lot of ways. So that's something I'm going to be watching. And also, if you have a goat that's lower on the pecking order, they're just not going to get as much to eat. I have several feeders set up, and so everybody does get food at the same time. I mean, I don't have goats that aren't eating when I put hay out. But you know, the choicest morsels are always going to go to the more bossy animals. And so if I have a goat that just seems like they may be carrying a lot of kids, they're just huge, or they just don't seem like they're quite getting enough, I will bring them into the barn while I'm doing my other chores and give them a flake of alfalfa just to themselves in the barn, and give them, you know, a half hour or so to eat on that. I've done that in the past, and I feel like that really does help a lot. The other thing is, you know, I'll be gradually increasing the grain ration over time. My goal is to have them up to a milking ration by the time they have their kids. And so I'll be posting a link down below to an article that was really helpful to me in determining how much feed you should be feeding a lactating doe. And obviously there's a lot of different factors that are going to go into it. But I'm going to estimate that all of my girls are going to be milking a gallon a day, if not more. So I'm going to be feeding them 2 to 4 pounds of grain per day. And so I'm going to be gradually increasing the feed ration during the last month or two of pregnancy, to the point where I'm feeding them a milking ration by the time they're due to have their kids. When you start a month or two out like that, that's when the kids are really putting on the most weight and doing the most growing inside the dough. So they're going to need those extra calories and the extra protein and everything that you're providing them. And then you can just add an extra handful of feed, you know, every 3 days or every once a week or whatever, and just kind of gradually increase the ration until they're getting a full milking ration. Right now, my yearlings, and they're only getting fed once a day. I'm just bringing them in, putting them on the stand to keep them in the habit of coming up here to eat, and they're just getting their grain on the stand once a day. And as time goes on, I'll start feeding them twice a day, so that they'll be ready for milking when they have their kids. And this is Josie. She is right around 40 days, 35, I don't know, I'll have to look. Anyways, she has a lopsided udder because she got mastitis on her right side, and her production is down on that side. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with that when she freshens again. I'm suspecting that side of her udder may just be permanently damaged. But she's such a great goat in other respects that I really don't care that much if her udder doesn't work properly. I don't think that's going to be a big deal for her. She's not really showing. Will be her third freshening, so you know she's not going to show very much because she's already got her body all stretched out. I'll also go ahead and show you what she looks like. I know you're almost out of feed. You're a good girl. So here she is. I'm in the process of drying her off. I've got her down to once a day milking, and she's only getting like a 1/4 pound of feed once a day. And I'm gonna be taking her down to every other day milking here pretty soon, just to dry her off. So anyway, she's been in milk for almost 2 years, so I figure she deserves a bit of a break. So thanks so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions about pregnancy or feeding or anything like that, please don't hesitate to ask. And if I know the answer, I'll answer that for you in a future video. And so I'll see you next time.